Welcome to another edition of the Stack Supplement Podcast, where we run down all of the top stories and exciting announcements shared on our website from the past 7 days. And the past 7 days have been extremely damn busy. If you've been keeping up with the site, which I hope absolutely everyone does, that's where all the latest, greatest news and updates go live non-stop, 364 days out of the year. Christmas being the one that we're missing. It's been a busy week, but most importantly, the reason we're actually recording this episode a day late, not a day late, I was planning on doing it on Tuesday rather than Monday, purely because yesterday the Stack Supplement Expo went live. The online exclusive event went live yesterday. If all you got to do to take part and show support and get involved and enjoy and appreciate is visit stackdexpo.com. And that takes you through all of the layouts and halls that we have set up. So basically, when you visit stackdexpo.com, you'll be presented with basically 4 halls or 4 pages, sections if you want to call them. North Hall, South Hall, East and West. Very similar to like a traditional convention center and stuff like that. And then each of those halls has around 10 to 12 supplement companies, ingredient houses and all that stuff in there. And you get to basically click on which ones find appealing, which ones you want to see, which ones you want to check out. And then you run through them and you check out everything they've got to show. There's introductions, education, information. There is a mammoth amount of stuff. In fact, we might actually do an episode maybe tomorrow or Thursday, highlighting everything that's in there, just purely because it's huge. It's what we do. We're doing it every year. I think this might be, I don't even know how many we've done. I know we took a break. We did 5 in maybe the first few years, then took a break, and then did 1 the year after, and then this might even be the 10th. I don't know, I haven't kept count, probably should. But yeah, and it's basically our attempt to bring everything that you get at a physical, traditional expo to the online world. And this is deals, discounts, giveaways, everything like that, all in one place, accessible from anywhere in the world. Any device, laptop, mobile, tablet, you name it, we've tried to accommodate. So it's a pretty cool little feature. And get involved, just visit. Now, I will actually talk about our big announcement because that is at the show. It's a prominent feature. We're blasting it everywhere. And moving forward, you're going to see, I'm not even going to hold back, you're going to see the shit out of this over the next 8-9 months. So officially, and I'll probably do a separate podcast going over what this is actually going to involve. In fact, as you can see on the screen right now, we're recording this Tuesday. You can see the stacked announcement up top. So basically, not even basically, complexly, if that's a word, we've partnered with the Arnold Sports Festival next year at the in Columbus at the annual Arnold Expo. There is going to be a section called Stack Select. It is going to consist of around 30 to 40 supplement companies. We don't know exactly the number it's going to end up as because we've been allocated as a set space. We've been given a set area. And obviously if the average brand takes up twice as much as we expect, there'll be less. If they take up half as much, there'll be twice as much, kind of like that. So there'll be a lot in there. And basically is going to be a home to supplement companies, ingredient houses, functional food innovators, and energy drinks. Pretty much everything you see on Stack housed in this little area. Not even a little, it's huge. It'll be, I don't know, I haven't measured, but it's bigger than any other, collectively it'll be bigger than anything else there. And it's going to be ridiculously large. As I said, we do have a set amount of space. We've already filled up half of it, I think. So we've been working with companies over the past 3 months. Basically, when the idea was brought to us, I thought this has legs. This could work. This could be a fantastic opportunity. This could be something really cool for fans. Just make this hardcore supplement space full of products, innovation, creativity. So I pitched it to a few brands. They loved it. They said yes before I even had anything to offer. They just like, let's do this. That list grew to about 20, 25 companies. They all just kept saying yes. And so when I realized the idea had legs and we were good, we just basically confirmed them all. And so I would say about half of the brands have confirmed. We've got maybe another quarter of our maximum space reached out, and we've probably got jack all left, really, if everybody just decides to pull the trigger within a fast. It will be first come first serve type thing. Like if some brands reach out and they fit, they'll get precedent over someone who comes to me 2 months later, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's going to be full of supplement companies, all of a very top quality, good reputation, regularly featured on Stacked, of course, and they'll all be roped together in this nice, I was going to say little, but just this giant section called Stack Select. And it's going to be heavily marketed on Stack, heavily promoted by the Arnold. Brands will be announced as we move forward leading up to the big day. We're going to have things like an industry hour where people from within the industry, like manufacturers, ingredient companies and all that, and retailers, they'll be able to visit this section an hour before the event opens. Like I said, like an industry hour. We plan on doing special edition items and limited edition features, expo awards. It's going to be one hell of an event. If you're a fan of supplements, industry consumer, this is going to be what I want to go to, pretty much. That's what I'm shooting for. It's going to be a damn good time, and whenever I do anything with Stacked, I make sure it's cool as shit. That's the first thing I do. I make sure that it's going to be fun and cool before anything else. And that is what we're trying to achieve here. And the brands that are filled out, like I said, we've got a few confirmed. We're not going to announce them anytime, like immediately. They're going to be drip fed. You're going to want to see these guys. I would say 80 to 90% of the brands in there have never been to an expo before. And in addition to that, they'll be limited on size. This was one of the things that after early discussions with supplement companies that wanted to get involved, I basically worked through a lot of the complaints, a lot of the reasons why they wouldn't do an expo or what they would like to see changed. And I basically listened to them, heard them out, put together several different things, went back and forth with the Arnold and created this environment, which I think, like I said, I called maybe 25 brands before I had to stop because we had too many yeses, and all but one of them said yes, and said maybe. It was, and I offered pretty much whatever I could to encourage them to give me something that they could want, what they could raise value. I really wanted to step things up, and like I said, brands in this section will be limited on size, purely because one of the things that other companies had said was that they didn't like being placed next to a giant or between two giants or whatever. And so this collective will be right near the front of the Arnold. You'll be able to see it the minute you walk in. And they'll be limited on size, so no one's going to really be able to stand out in terms of volume over the next person. So like there won't be a dedicated island like in the middle. There won't be a giant 20-foot, not that 20-foot tall is an actual thing for a booth, but there won't be any 20-foot tall building inside the section. Everyone's going to be limited to a relatively the same size. I think there are 3 sizes. And obviously different placements within this area make some sizes seem bigger than others, but that's realistically what it is. And that was, again, purely because guys that had never done a show before that might not want to be put next to this company or this company because they're going to tower over them, that's not going to happen. At least to, like I said, the 3 sizes are right next to each other. So there are a lot of things we've done, and we're still working on a lot of things to basically make it an environment that brands want to go, have a good time, while I'm still trying to maintain and make sure this is something consumers are going to love the hell out of. And yeah, all in all, you can read more about it on the site, stack.com, or even go stack3dexpo.com. Brands can actually register their interest through there. I would say if you're interested and haven't hit me up by the end of next month, there won't likely be any room. We do, like I said, there's a limited amount of space this area can take up. And one reason is that because it's so large, it can't really be shifted. And also because I want everyone to stay within this kind of section, and it'd be visibly a separate section that people can see and go, oh, you're included in that area. So it'll be visibly a very noticeable separate area called Stack Select. And basically I also wanted to keep it within a size Like if you walked in, not that this is the case, but let's say you walked into the Arnold and half of the floor was a premium, reputable, high quality, top shelf, whatever section, and then the other half was like, I don't know, whatever. You wouldn't feel as exclusive, right, if you were in the other area, if that makes sense, because it's too large. So we wanted to keep it within a certain size that would make it seem exclusive and fun, hence the name Stack Select. It'll be full of brands of all shapes and sizes, as I mentioned, ingredient companies, energy drinks, functional foods. They'll all be in the mix. And yeah, all I can say is that stay tuned to Stack. There's a lot of announcements to come, and I mean a lot. And it's all going to be leading up to March 1st. That's when it happens. And we also do have some involvement in the Arnold UK. That hasn't been announced. I probably should. Nah, it's okay. So there'll be more detail on that later. That is happening 2 weeks after the Arnold US, so they've made them a lot closer than next year. And we'll be sharing a little bit more information on that. We're not doing anything similar. It's not going to be overly similar there. We will have some representation and some sort of workings that we're trying to get together, but it's not like it's taken fully form yet. So we're working on that, and as we kind of carve that out, we'll share more. But yes. If you're interested, hit me up on social, hit me up on, hit Stacked up on the contact form, or just go to stackedexpo.com. The Stacked page has a form where you can fill out your interest, which dozens already have. So we'll be going through those as well once we get time after the Stacked Expo. But yes, this episode, as usual, is about the roundup of the top stories from the last 7 days, and we're going to rattle things off with some big news. Obviously, the biggest was the Stacked and Arnold partnership. But one of the big ones that came out over the weekend was ProSupps. ProSupps has reformulated its Hyde Nightmare pre-workout, which was originally put together as like a collaboration with Kamaru Usman, the UFC fighter. His nickname is Nigerian Nightmare, hence the name Nightmare for the pre-workout. But do note it is called Hyde Nightmare, so it's like a version or a spin-off of Hyde. Hyde being ProSupps' signature pre-workout, of course. So they actually made very few changes. And I don't mean like very few as in like not a lot. I mean like, I like it when a brand like doesn't remove anything, just increases things. It's something that a lot of brands are doing these days when they reformulate, and it just makes it really nice and cool knowing that if you're a fan who loves a pre-workout and then you hear like, oh my God, they changed so much. Like, and it's not a sequel, it's like a reformulation or whatever. It's not as assuring as when they say we've kept everything the same but increased this and this. There's a no-lose situation. Anyone that loved the product now will love it more. And anyone that maybe on the fence might be more interested. And so that's what they did here. ProSupps pretty much just increased a few things. They upped the dose of citrulline, beta-alanine, alpha-GPC. Everything else is exactly the same. So, and again, Hyde Nightmare is obviously not a premium pre-workout, loaded pre-workout, as we've seen from ProSupps in the past with like the Hyde Icon, but it's it has its purpose. It's got a good price point. So basically, what they did was they ramped up the citrulline by 50%. I think it was 4 grams, now 6 grams. They doubled the alpha GPC to 200 with a little bit extra focus, and then they shifted the beta alanine up to the more common amount of 3.2 per serving instead of 2.5. So some notable shifts and changes, but again, if you are a fan of the product, don't feel like you're lacking. It's like I said, it's pretty much the same thing with increases in pumps, focus, and performance, and won't likely disappoint if you're a fan of it. So yeah, definitely check that out if you're a big if you're a ProSupps buyer, and Hyde Nightmare is your go-to. Staying within the pre-workout category, we got some pretty big news last week from Beam, the premium supplement company Beam. They have been around for quite some time, and they have had 2 pre-workouts out for a while, but I wouldn't really call it 2 completely separate pre-workouts. So one of the first supplements Beam ever came out with was a pre-workout called Pre-Workout. Pretty solid formula, well-rounded, reasonable for the price. They charged a pretty good price, and they backed it up with ingredients and dosages. Then they released a stimulant-free version, which was identical to the original minus the stims. So very true to the name. Now they've come out with a product called Pure Pump, and now this is kind of more along the lines of the common pump pre-workout that we used, stimulant-free pre-workout that we used to seeing. This doesn't have any kind of there are some crossovers, but the product is called Pure Pump, and it's very different from the already available Beam pre-workout as well as the stimulant-free pre-workout. It's pretty much all about pumps. There's a few other things in there as well to kind of ramp up other benefits. So I'm just going to rattle them off for you. You've got 5 grams of pure citrulline, 2 grams of betaine, 1.5 grams of the very popular nitrosamine from the guys at Nutrition 21. Then you've got half a gram of tyrosine to help with focus, Elevate TP at 150 for performance and endurance, pine bark, grapeseed, what's the other one? Pomegranate, and then you've got one last premium component in Citrapeak at 200 milligrams. So primarily it's for pumps, and the name Pure Pump obviously screams that it's a pump pre-workout. I believe I actually did say that it should be stackable with the regular Beam pre-workout. I don't actually know if I went over and looked at it, but I don't believe there was a drastic amount of crossover. When you stack pre-workouts, even though one might be stimulant based and one might stimulant free, that isn't always the go ahead to be like, yeah, these can be stacked. For example, like I said, Beam has a stimulant free pre-workout available before Pure Pump, and it was basically their regular Beam pre-workout minus the stims. That's not really something you want to be stacking together, because sometimes that might result in 10 grams of adenine. I'm not saying that's the case, but that might. And so generally when you get something like Pure Pump, where they've brought on a mostly different set of ingredients to help elevate pumps, there's a little crossover with a stimulant pre-workout, and that's always good thing to look out for. But yeah, so very new addition from Beam. Pretty cool to see them expand further into pre-workout. I'm a big fan of pump pre-workouts. I'm a big fan of being able to get more if you want to spend more. This is just something I've always liked from brands, and just, been given the option to be able to invest more. Like sometimes that is one of the key things I think that helps you do or train or put a little bit extra effort or commitment or consistency and dedication. Like if you spend $50 on your pre-workout and you take it, like it's great, you power you through and get you going. But let's just say your pre-workout stack costs $200. It might be a little bit, help you feel like you're going to get a little bit more, put a little more effort into it, make sure it gets put to good use and stuff like that. I've always loved just having the stackability and having the option to be able to spend more. And maybe if you've taken your Beam fan, taking pre-workout, you want to amp it up, you want to elevate it. Hence the rise of the premium pre-workout trend. But yeah, now you can stack. I'm not saying you can stack. I haven't actually checked, but I'm pretty sure there's not much crossover. I know the main pre-workout has citrulline in it, but I doubt it's going to be an absurd amount that you couldn't take Pure Pump with it. Either way, I probably should have looked at that before saying this, but yes, Pure Pump is out. I think it's out now or out shortly. They revealed everything about it anyway, and it's available on our site, and we have more details on the launch. Again, I'm pretty sure it's out now, if not coming shortly. The next we've got, we're going to stay within the pre-workout category. Typically, we're all about the energy drinks. Generally, we group those news together. We'll stay pre-workout on this episode. So another latest update we have is from Nutrex. Now, Nutrex is undergoing a bit of I wouldn't say shift. I'll say what they say, rebirth. They're undergoing a rebirth. And by the sounds of things, it's going to involve like a change, a shift, or a direction. I guess kind of like what we saw way back when they introduced Outlift. That I would call a shift, where they were known for Hemo Rage and hardcore, muscle infusion protein powder. It was Zach King Khan was an athlete, and then we got Outlift, and it was just this huge shift in direction and approach. And so yeah, that was I think that's what we're about to see from Nutrex next. So they've been promoting this thing called a rebirth, and all it was said was there was going to be a product leading the rebirth. That was kind of the vibe we got. Last week we got a first look at that product, or at least what the first one's going to be. And it's a product called Outlift Burn. Now, I don't know, we haven't seen the ingredients. All that they've said is it's going to be loaded with clinical ingredients and dosages and premium, reliable components to help out on the pre-workout side and the fat burning side. So a nice hybrid experience. I don't know too much about what's in it. But yes, we've now kind of got an idea of what's coming with this whole rebirth that Nutrex has planned. Outlift Burn is going to lead the way. I would suspect, with the way that they're referring to this whole rebirth thing, that Outlift Burn is just kind of the start, the beginning of the rebirth, you could say. I am guessing we're going to be seeing a lot more products. Outlift Burn will just be, again, the start, the beginning. And we'll just go from there. It should be interesting to see where they go from there. And this was kind of similar to when Outlift first came out. If you remember, Outlift debuted, and then we got a few... Was there a post-workout in there as well, if I'm not mistaken? And then I'm pretty sure we also had a whole series, I can't remember the name of it, and Outlift was there, and then we got Outlift Amped. There was a lot involved. And when you do a rebirth, revamp, shift like this, that's generally what happens. You get a whole bunch of products in that kind of direction. Details a little thin right now, but we'll leave it at that. Hit the website up and you can see more information on it. But yeah, pretty cool to at least get an idea of what we're getting from Nutrex, which has been in the industry for an incredibly long amount of time. So it's cool to see a legacy brand such as that revamping some stuff, mixing things up and getting something different. Well, the next we're going to cover, we'll do three. We'll do the last three, maybe a fourth, probably three. But we got a new energy drink last week. A fresh new one. I didn't, but the industry did. It was from none other than the legendary wrestler, or I said iconic wrestler in the story, Ric Flair. Nature Boy Ric Flair. He came out with his own energy drink, which if you know Ric Flair, or even if you're familiar with wrestling, he has a signature catchphrase, or I would say scream, where he would just, I'm not even going to, it's very difficult for me to say it without saying it in the way he does. But he does like this big woo. If you know Ric Flair, you can imagine it in his head, in your head a little bit better. But it's specifically W followed by 5 O's, and that's just so you know that's important, because that is the name. And when you type the website in, you do need the 5 O's. They haven't got like WO Energy. But yeah, that's the name of the brand and the beverage, Wooooo Energy. It is a pretty surprisingly complex beverage. I expected, coming from like Ric Flair and being more of a gimmicky, not gimmicky, but like face-driven brand, as opposed to something like Monster, where it's just a brand name. I expected to be just, I don't know, caffeine, taurine, bit of this, bit of that. But they actually put some pretty interesting things into this. So you get 1.5 grams of taurine, 150 milligrams of caffeine, which is right around my preferred amount, B vitamins, and then a 1.5 gram blend of theanine, go-to cola, and then not all of them, but pretty much majority of the commonly used mushroom extracts. So you got lion's mane, cordyceps, chaga, turkey tail, shiitake, maitake, and reishi mushroom, all in that little 1.5 gram blend. So it's kind of like a, they call it, I believe the brand calls it mushroom elixir, I think it is. We just refer to it as like a mushroom extract enhanced energy drink, because it does have caffeine in there at 150. And yeah, so energy is a main component of the beverage. And then you've got these other things like the taurine and the theanine, and then all the mushroom extracts to kind of help, I guess, further support the energy, well-being, and nootropic or even cognitive side of it. And so it's quite an interesting drink. Again, I would have expected, coming from a personality-driven brand, generally you get more basic stuff. They want to stick with what works and let the fame and the influence drive the popularity of it. And so yeah, your product comes in 3 flavors, I believe it is. Yes, 3 flavors. And yeah, strawberry, banana, lemon, and dragon fruit, and they are all available through the website Wooooo 50's energy.com. And they all keep the calories pretty lean and light. 6 grams of carbohydrates with only 30 calories, so it's not like a sugar-loaded beverage. That is also a 12-ounce can, but either way, it's still within reason. Not some of the beverages out there that get upwards of like 30 grams of sugar and stuff. But I will note it is on the premium side, at least on the price. So for a pack, you pay $30, but that's not for a pack of 12 like we're used to. It's a pack of half a dozen. You get 6. Definitely falls on the high side. That's $5 a piece. Again, I guess if you're a Flair fan, you like the colors, you like the approach, the mushroom extracts intrigue you, give it a try. But yeah, that's out now, revealed and released all at the same time. So from there, we're going to shoot to the. So this is a story. You know what? I'm gonna go with this one. This is a story that's been a long time coming. And if you follow Stacked and you read, like I hope everyone in the world does, this is a story that's been kind of a long time coming. So years ago, and I mean years ago, I'm thinking maybe 7, maybe 6. Man Sports had I wouldn't say a knack. It would tease products. It would preview them, concepts almost. And some of these never came to light. They were just teasers, but they got a shitload of attention. So one of those, we had a BrainBridge energy drink, which was BrainBridge is their Man Sports incredibly powerful nootropic. And then you're basically getting a 12-ounce energy drink version. That never came to light or fruition. Another one was Dirty Bulk. Now this thing, we'd seen some things on social media, but this thing took off. So we posted that up. God knows how much it took off. It was huge. It was a huge hit, huge success, very popular, and it never came out. And I don't know why, because it wasn't an April Fool's thing. If anyone was thinking that was a shit on April 1st. But yeah, the name Dirty Bulk just got a lot of attention. And more interestingly, or the most interesting thing, was the flavor it was previewed in was milkshake and fries. Now, I don't know if that's something I would enjoy taking every day after the after the workout. I don't really know if it's something I would enjoy taking at any time of the day, every day. But it intrigued the hell out of me. And I guess very much like with pre-workouts, when you get your regular peach, orange mango, fruit punch, blue raspberry, you get these occasional fun flavors like a unicorn piss and, I don't know, rainbow candy and all these fun things that you might not like every day, but give it a shot. And milkshake and fries just surprised the hell out of me. I never tried it, so it might be something I might want to take every day. I don't know. But it was the flavor and the Dirty Bulk name that really, really got attention. Now, Man Sports has announced last week, it is indeed finally launching Dirty Bulk. The catch is it's not coming in the milkshake and fries flavor, which I was disappointed in, even just for like a 50 tub run or something. I don't know. It would have been cool to see him, I guess, pay homage to that throwback all the way those years ago, and at least see what it would taste like a salty, like a sweet chocolate milkshake and salty fries. I don't know. Either way. So yeah, Dirty Bulk's coming. They announced it. They revealed it. It's pretty fat gainer. If I say so, 52 grams of protein, which is about your typical for a gainer. But the fat side of this is I don't mean fat as in I just mean fat as in large. You get 350 grams of carbohydrates. That is no small amount by any standards. I'm guessing it comes with one of those spade-like scoops. 350 grams of carbs for a total of 1,679 calories. Most gainers, most of the high calorie dense ones, just tip over that 1,000 mark into the 4 figures, usually 1,000, 1,200. You got some lean gainers that sit between 500 to 1,000, but generally they sit around there. Occasionally you get some that really push the boundaries. I think Elite Labs, from memory, their metabolic mass is the most calorie dense per serving, at least on the label, because you could obviously just scoop in as many servings as you want of any gainer and it becomes the biggest, but based on servings on the label, I think that one's the biggest. But I mean, I can only think of maybe 4, if that top over 1,500 calories a serving. Man Sports being one of them with Dirty Bulk. So yeah, that product's coming shortly. It'll be available through the brand's website. I don't think they've announced exactly the date. just sort of giving you the idea that the possibility to sign up to be notified when it goes live. And we've got a link for that on our site. Okay, now the last story we have, we're going to round it up. And this was a cool one. I guess fun to see because I've known this brand for a while, and it's cool to see that it's getting the opportunity to live on. And just whether it be revamped, redesigned, rebranded, continued, pushed harder, whatever. So Beast Sports is available for sale, at least the brand and the IP is. So not at least, everything involving Beast Sports is available for purchase. I think someone suggested it to us and I Googled it and there it was, a link to it. And we put that link on our website in the story we shared about this. And so Beast famously founded in 1995, been in business well over 25 years, so well over a quarter of a century, close to 30 years. If you just waited 2 years, just 2 more years, it's 30 years in business. You can now, they're taking inquiries to purchase the brand. Beast famously known for pre-work supplements like Beast Mode, the pre-workout Beast Mode, which got a premium version not too long ago when Beast Mode X. You've got its multi-source creatine creature. I mean, these guys have been around, I don't even need to say been around for a while. I just told you 1995, so they've been around for almost 3 decades. And they're looking to pass the brand on to someone who's going to either, like I said, revamp it, revitalize, further push it, add it to their collection of brands, whatever it may be, and let it go from there. I'll be interested to see, obviously, who gets it or who picks it up, what they plan on doing with it, where they go from there. Beast has been around, hasn't just been around in the US, it's a worldwide company. They're available in many countries, known worldwide. Definitely in the category of legacy brand. I don't even need to go into more detail about that. So they don't really list too much about it on the page about details about the sale. Just kind of highlighted things that if you know the industry like myself, you already know what Beast is. You're very familiar with what they are and what they've done and how far they've come and how long they've been around. And so you can reach out to the guys. I think it's Metis Partners. Metis Partners is the company handling the sale with Beast. Anyone interested in inquiries or finding out more, just hit them up, let them know. Pretty big announcement. Not the usual juicy pre-workout that we talk about or we end the show with, but that's what we've got for you. And that'll round it up for this week. I would say definitely head to the Stack3d Expo when you got a spare moment. Before bed, when you wake up, when you're on the toilet, I don't know, take 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It would take a while to go through every single page of the Stack3d Expo, but please take the time to check it out. Appreciate any time anyone can put into this thing. It's we appreciate any support anyone can give, and look forward to a mountain of more information surrounding that whole Arnold Stack partnership. It is going to be big.